Another aspect of ecosystem ecology is the cycling of nutrients and other materials. Now, when we went over the energy flow, see, energy flows. It's not recycled because of the laws of thermodynamics, but stuff, materials, elements, they cycle in ecosystems between the living and the non-living parts of the environment. Now, depending upon which class you have, there could be 4 or 5 different things here, different types of cycles. Well, the water cycle or hydrologic cycle ultimately depends on evaporation and precipitation, but is also influenced by such things as transpiration from plants and so on and so forth. The carbon cycle depends primarily on photosynthesis and respiration. Remember, photosynthesis takes carbon dioxide and fixes it into organic material. Respiration breaks down the organic material, releasing it back as carbon dioxide. Now, there's more to it than that, but that's good enough for this review. The nitrogen cycle depends almost exclusively on bacteria, and to go into a little more detail, we've got this diagram here, and hopefully you can see the whole thing. We have nitrogen gas, and of course nitrogen's a component of DNA, proteins, things like that, and we're surrounded by nitrogen gas all the time, but we can't do a thing with it. But bacteria can. They can perform nitrogen fixation, converting nitrogen from an otherwise useless form to more biologically useful forms. So nitrogen fixing bacteria convert the bacteria usually into ammonia. There's also ammonification as well. The bacteria can also nitrify, that is, convert this into nitrites and nitrates. Plants love nitrates. Any bag of fertilizer worth its weight in fertilizer is going to have nitrates in it. So the plants are going to, and the algae too, are going to assimilate the nitrates into them. And of course, when the animals eat it, they assimilate it as well. Then there's waste, there's death, and there's decomposition, releasing it back for the bacteria to cycle again. But we don't have to worry about the nitrogen gas running out because there's also denitrifying bacteria that convert it back to nitrogen gas. The phosphorus cycle is somewhat similar to the nitrogen cycle, except it depends on the weathering of rock. So phosphates in rocks, in minerals, get weathered into soil and into water. Plants love phosphates too. They're going to assimilate the phosphates. The animals that eat the plants are going to assimilate the phosphates. And again, you have death and waste and decomposition, re-releasing the phosphates back into the soil and the water to be used again. But some can persist in the sediments and eventually become rock to be weathered again some other time. And this concludes our overview of biogeochemical cycles.